Republicans are brawling with one another over Donald Trump's nominee for the Department of Defense, with MAGA on one side and military hawks on the other. The nominee in question is Elbridge Colby, who Trump picked for his defense undersecretary for policy. And the hawks are not happy that Colby wants to pull back from the Middle East. He's even stated that Iran creating a nuclear weapon shouldn't be a red line for the US. We'll get to more on this beef shortly, but Cenk, what are your initial thoughts on Elbridge Colby's nomination and potential position?
So I'm 100% in favor of Elbridge Colby. That's not the question. The question is, wait, Trump appointed someone who is defying Israel? Interesting. And there's MAGA that are defending him, and there's an internal civil war within Trump supporters on this issue. That's interesting. So let's find out more.
It is interesting. Let's get back to it. And here's what you need to know about the conservative infighting. A recent Jewish insider report revealed the following. Elbridge Colby's Pentagon nomination generates concern among key Senate Republicans. But what is this concern? Why is there concern? Colby has said in the past that the US should pull back militarily from the Middle East and do less to counter Iran and its proxies. He's also suggested that he doesn't see an Iranian nuclear weapon as a red line, which has been longstanding US policy, saying instead that it is eminently plausible and practical to contain a nuclearized Iranian regime. Colby has also opposed using our country's military to take out Iranian nuclear facilities, supported pulling back from Ukraine and Europe, and questioned whether the US should back Taiwan in the event of an invasion by China. Outside groups are also weighing in on this fight. The CEO of the Conference of Presidents of Major Jewish Organizations, an influential umbrella group, wrote to the chairman and ranking members of the Senate Armed Services Committee over serious concerns about the nomination among its constituents. In the letter, CEO William Daroff suggested a dozen questions for committee members to ask Colby, half of them about Iran. And amid this ongoing turmoil, Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA posted this yesterday. The effort to undermine President Trump continues in the US Senate. Senator Tom Cotton is working behind the scenes to stop Trump's pick, Elbridge Colby, from getting confirmed at DOD. Colby is one of the most important pieces to stop the Bush-Cheney cabal at DOD. Why is Tom Cotton doing this? Comment below your theories. Now, Ben Smith of Semaphore wrote the following response. Funny way to get support in the Senate for a vote that was widely expected to go fine, despite the fight now spilling into the open. Cotton's issue, I'm told, is Colby suggesting the US can live with a nuclear Iran. Senator Cotton disagrees, opposes Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, and is addressing his policy concerns with the White House, a source close to Cotton said. Now, Mark Levin of Fox News took Cotton's side, writing, "Sorry, Charlie, it is the unequivocal position of President Trump and every sane person that Iran must not get nukes. This guy has no problem with it. He's the problem, not Cotton. He's out of sync, not Cotton. He's undermining national security, not Cotton." But none other than Vice President J.D. Vance came to Colby's defense, saying that Colby was a personal friend of his. He wrote, "Bridge has consistently been correct about the big foreign policy debates of the last 20 years. He was critical of the Iraq War, which made him unemployable in the 2000s era conservative movement. Of course, no one who's written as much as he has over the last 20 years is going to get everything right. But what would you rather have in the government? A cautious bureaucrat who never has an original thought, or a genuinely brilliant strategic thinker? Easy choice." Pete Hegseth and Elon Musk also posted in support of Colby, but for now, Colby's fate is still in the hands of the Senate. Now, Cenk, how do you think this is going to go?
I don't know, and it's really interesting, and it will determine what we do about Israel in the long run, I believe. But hold for that. By the way, we're asking, the poll shows live 6 o'clock Eastern every day, Monday through Friday. Who's going to win this one, Warhawks or MAGA? They're on different sides. So I know which side I'm on. I'm not on the Warhawk side. The Warhawks are the neocons. They're the ones that led us into the Iraq War. I'm going to tell you how they're trying to lead us into the Iran war right now. But first, Mark Levin with the, who would you prefer is in charge and blah blah blah. I would prefer someone that has the US best interest in charge rather than Israel's best interest. And Mark Levin would not prefer that. Mark Levin thinks Israel first, America 28th, or whenever we get to it, who gives a goddamn. But you will do as Israel tells you to do, and Israel is not in favor of this appointment. He's kind of shocked. He's like, wait, we already gave you the order. This guy is not to go in the government. What the hell are you doing? Well, MAGA's fighting back. So that's an interesting development. That is a super interesting development. So now, in terms of the actual policy itself, Obama had a perfectly good peace deal with Iran. We would get all the uranium out of Iran, and it worked for years, and we did. They had no nuclear weapon program at all because of that deal. The number one favor that Netanyahu asked of Trump when he first got in office, later he asked him for many favors and got them all. But the first favor he asked for was get out of the Iran deal. Why? If it's preventing Iran from having nukes or even having uranium, that's a great deal. Why would you want to get us out of that deal? So that they could later say, oh, can you believe they're developing uranium? It's a red line not to have nukes. Well, I guess America's going to have to invade Iran on our behalf. Remember, guys, weapons of mass destruction. That's why we had you invade Iraq, and now we want you to invade Iran. Oh, did we put those weapons in place because we got out of the peace deal? Oh, well, I guess you're a tough break, America. Go pay another couple of $1 trillion to go fight that war. Go send your American boys and girls to go die there. That's why MAGA's pushing back, and I love it. And Mark Levin normally goes, if it's anyone on the left or anyone else, he'll do his usual routine. Anti-Semites are all Nazis, and we have to kill all the Palestinians, and anyone who doesn't want to kill Palestinians hates Jews, and we should fire them all. We should ruin their lives if they don't want to be ruled by Israel. Well, go ahead and say it to MAGA. Go ahead, say it to Charlie Kirk. Go ahead, say it to JD Vance. Go ahead, say it to Elon Musk. Go ahead. I dare you, Mark. Go ahead. I know you don't have another trick. That's the one trick pony you rode in on. So go ahead, call them anti-Semites. Call them Nazis. See how that turns out for you. I guess it's not going to work out that well. See, this is a civil war I can get behind because now people are using their minds. Even if we don't agree with all of America first, saying that Israel should get all of our money, we should start this war with Iran for them and fight it for them and pay it for them. All of a sudden, America first has an advantage. All of a sudden, that's interesting. And I'm glad I had those conversations. And by the way, if you're gonna yell at Mark Levin and Charlie Kirk, who are both Trump supporters, massive Trump supporters, which one do you yell at in this case? Which one do you call the Nazi? If you call them both a Nazi on this issue, help me understand it because they're on exactly opposite sides. And then one more thing, Iran having a nuclear deal means that America has to pay $5 trillion more for a war with Iran. No, it doesn't. North Korea has nukes. They're a much more dangerous government. Oh, right, they built 6 while Trump was in office, while Trump was making out with Kim Jong-un. Right, like, oh man, my button was bigger. Oh, he says my button is bigger? Oh, he's sending nice love letters to me? Yeah, build all the nukes you want, it's okay. No, so are we gonna be consistent or not? Did I want India or Pakistan getting nukes? No. I think that it was a good idea to bomb and start a war with Pakistan before they got their nukes? No, that would have been a terrible idea. There's one other super dangerous country that has nukes that constantly attacks all of their neighbors. And we can go to war with them either. They're called Israel. Jordan.
Yeah, it's a different tone than we're used to seeing from somebody in the right at large. You're seeing a little bit more of this in the MAGA camp than the hawk camp, I guess. But he still is a China hawk. We need to be clear about that. Just because he wants to withdraw from the Middle East, that also means he wants to shift focus toward Asia, specifically China. He's written about how China continuing to grow its sphere of influence could lead to that being the global hegemonic region. And he's concerned about that. So yes, I don't think we should be involved in the Middle East. I also don't think that we need to be ratcheting up tensions with China. It is a lose-lose game there. And I'm a little concerned that a lot of the supposedly anti-war rhetoric we're seeing from the MAGA camp in terms of the Middle East is used as cover successfully for underlying hawkish beliefs toward China. And that's something I'm concerned about in the long run.
Well, I don't want to start a war on any continent, with any country or on behalf of any country. I guess that makes me more America first than MAGA. Why would we get into a war with China? What's so dumb? Okay, have an economic battle, win the economic battle. Why do we have to constantly talk about the military? Oh, okay, their tariffs are a little bit higher than ours. Should we nuke them? No, we shouldn't nuke them, and we shouldn't talk about war for no goddamn reason. So, all right, now one more thing. In one of the quotes, they explained that the CEO of the Conference of Presidents of major Jewish organizations were pushing to make sure this guy does not get into office because of his views about not wanting to attack Iran. What are you guys doing? Get the hell out of there. If groups that are lobbying on behalf of the Israeli government are doing it, like AIPAC, yeah, they claim that they get money for American citizens. I don't care where they get, I mean, I care if it's illegal, but assuming that it's legal, I don't care where they get the money from, Christian Zionists, whoever else, I don't care, okay? But they're saying they are for Israel. It's in their title. Israel is in the title. Democratic Majority for Israel, another group. They explain they are for Israel. Okay, so those people, in my opinion, are bribing an American government officials on behalf of Israel, but at least it's clear and honest, and it's on behalf of a government. That we can contain and we can deal with. But if you're American Jewish organizations and you're going and lobbying the government to start a war with Iran, what are you doing? Get out of the room. That's gonna drive anti-Semitism through the roof. Get out of the goddamn room. Everybody's so blind, they can't see straight. No, starting a war on behalf of a foreign government is not going to make you popular inside this country. At some point, that's going to blow up and they're going to blame you. Stop it. We've all got to be Americans. And if we're not Americans and we lose sight of that and we're like, oh, no, I want that government to have a bigger advantage and I'm a leader of a religious organization, that would be like Muslim organizations going, we're for Muslim Americans, but we're not really Americans, we're for Saudi Arabia. And we think you should start a war with Yemen on behalf of Saudi Arabia. I'd go tackle those guys. What are you doing? You don't speak for all Muslims. I don't give a goddamn about Saudi Arabia, whichever war they want to start with Yemen. I'd drag them out of the room. Stop hurting your own community. Stop hurting the country. These blind biases are incredibly damaging, but for at least the portion of MAGA that has woken up to the neocons in the House that are trying to drag you into another giant war in the Middle East on behalf of foreign governments, thank you. Thank you for fighting back. And for whatever other disagreements we have about China or anything else, at least they're on the right side of this, and at least they have a prayer of getting the right guy into the government so we don't start another war with Iran. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.